This learning object is a production of Abu Dhabi Men's College, Center of Excellence for ICT and Learning Technology.
I've been asked many times why and what motivated me to start a program such as Umzi Wetu. I am a conservationist. My work is about creating, managing and protecting game reserves and parks on the one hand, and on the other to teach and educate people as to the importance of our natural environment and these protected areas. Why then Umzi Wetu? Should programs like this not be left to sociologists and AIDS activists? My answer is simple. AIDS is as much an environmental issue as it is a social one. Certainly, the impacts of pandemics like HIV/AIDS and other forms of displacements, such as droughts and wars, impact directly or indirectly on every aspect of society. I'll say that for impact. People who have no livelihood, no parents, no immediate outlook, often turn to nature to harvest and collect food and resources to live, and to feed those that they have now become responsible for. This in turn adds huge strain to our natural resources and the ability of these areas and natural systems to sustain themselves into the future. Therefore, I advocate that to be an effective park warden or game ranger in these times, you need to pay as much attention to what happens outside of your park, your boundary or fence line, as to what happens inside. Literally, and this is my message to all of you today, you need to think outside of the box for integrated and proactive solutions to the challenges of our times. When you set up a new park or a game reserve, you want to protect this in as natural state as you can. Your goal is to manage and protect and enact an intact ecosystem which is representative of the natural habitat. Once you have achieved this, you need to manage with soft hands and let these ecosystems manage themselves. In ecological terms, sustainability is achieved. We must never exceed the carrying capacity of the area. To do this would condemn that reserve or protected area and the animals it supports to a free fall, and ultimately the system fails. In the natural world, a flush of prey will be followed by a flush of predators. This will continue until the prey is depleted, and then the predators will in turn decrease through competition for resources. A good protected area manager will often manage the reserve and the wildlife it supports at 70% carrying capacity, i.e. allowing the natural systems to ebb and flow through rains and droughts and repair itself without putting undue stress or pressure on the ecosystem. In my view, if we apply these basic and common sense practices of our natural world to our economic systems, we would not have had the drastic downturns and in some cases meltdowns we have recently experienced. In simple terms, we exceeded our carrying capacity. Profits and greed meant that we gave ourselves no room to move, should and when natural events or other forces come into play. There are three major commodities whose supply in many countries will become scarce, and as such, subject to constraints and conflicts now and into the future. These are food, fresh water, and liquid fuels. Supplies of fresh water and food are compounded by climate change and global warming. For example, a highly probable temperature rise of just 2.1% above pre-industrial levels will expose between 2.3 and 3 billion people to the risk of severe water shortages. This, of course, also affects food supply. In my opinion, as a human society, we have lost and need to urgently regain the true meaning and concept of sustainability. We can learn a lot from the first peoples and the indigenous peoples of our world. They understood that basic survival meant living in harmony with the natural world. They understood, the North American Indians, for example, had a basic philosophy that every action and decision they took today, they would look to the impact to the 7th generation. By applying this basic philosophy in today's world, we would become sustainable for tomorrow and for our great-grandchildren. We need a cultural change in our global society, starting with genuine reaching out and helping others to help themselves. In conclusion, Muir is a small example of what can be achieved if we look to integrated and holistic solutions to our challenges. Our solutions need to come through cross-pollination of ideas and reaching out beyond and without borders. If we do this, we will achieve social progress, and we will attain a level of respect for each other and every living species on this earth, and we will be sustainable into the future. Thank you.